Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to helping you navigate life's complexities with clarity and inner peace. If you're over 40, you've likely experienced your fair share of challenges, betrayals, and unexpected setbacks. You might be wondering why some people seem to glide through life relatively untouched by the storms that rage around them, while others are constantly tossed and turned. This video delves into the ancient wisdom of Buddhist teachings and modern psychological insights to reveal the secret to emotional resilience, that inner strength that allows you to remain calm and centered no matter what life throws your way. Too many of us spend our lives reacting, snapping, and worrying, feeling overwhelmed by things we simply cannot control. Before we dive in, if you're finding value in this content, please take a moment to like and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. We're committed to bringing you actionable wisdom to help you live a richer, more fulfilling life. But some people have tapped into a different way of being, an ancient truth that can free you from the invisible chains around your mind. The key lies in understanding that you only lose what you cling to. Why is it that some events or situations can so easily derail your peace of mind? Why does your sense of calm always seem borrowed, never truly owned? We'll be exploring the insights of Buddhist masters and modern thinkers like Carl Jung, who understood the true root of emotional power. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this: it's all you'll ever need. And be sure to stick around until the end, because we have a bonus lesson that has the potential to truly transform your life. Why nothing should affect you anymore. What if I told you that nobody and nothing has the power to affect you unless you give them permission? Most people live like leaves in the wind, tossed about by every passing opinion, every heartbreak, every minor setback. What if you could stop bending and start standing firm, becoming the mountain instead of the leaf? Buddhist teachings tell the story of a monk meditating on a hilltop as a raging storm gathers. The wind howls, lightning flashes, and thunder crashes across the sky. Yet, the monk remains unmoved. Later, someone asks him, "Weren't you afraid?" The monk replies, "The storm was never inside me." The truth is, you only burn when you believe the fire is real. You suffer not because of what happens, but because of what you think it means. That rejection, that silence, that mistake, these are just passing weather. You mistake them for your identity. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Buddhist principles, please consider liking and subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth. Your support helps us create more content that empowers you to live a more fulfilling life. Here's where everything begins to shift. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the real question is, what within me is reacting this way? Suffering doesn't reside in the events themselves, but in your resistance, attachment, and identification with them. A breakup doesn't break you, your belief that you're unlovable does. A failed career move doesn't diminish your worth, your inner voice, whispering that you're not enough, does. In Buddhist thought, the mind is likened to a wild elephant, trampling peace, chasing desires, and fearing shadows. Mindfulness, the calm observer, is what tames it. When you become aware of your inner noise, it loses its power. You watch fear rise and fall, see anger boil and dissolve, without reaction, without battle, just stillness. Who or what still controls your emotions? Is it the memory of someone who left, a job title you never got, a future that didn't unfold as planned? And are those things really you? Or are they just clouds, passing, temporary, unreal? The Buddha said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." You are not your pain, your thoughts, or even your emotions. You are the space in which all these things come and go, the observer, the mountain. The next time chaos hits, practice radical stillness. When your phone buzzes with bad news, when someone insults you, when plans collapse, pause, breathe, observe. Can you let the storm rage while your soul remains unmoved? That's emotional sovereignty, that's power. When you stop outsourcing your peace to the world, you become untouchable. Because the truth is, the world doesn't have to change, your mind does. And when it does, you'll discover something extraordinary: you can walk through fire and not burn. So, what are you still holding on to that gives others power over your peace? Let it go, let it fall away, and step into a life where nothing owns your emotions except your conscious choice. Freedom isn't about escaping pain, it's about not letting pain define you. The moment you stop caring about things that don't matter is the moment everything real begins to rise. A calm mind is the ultimate form of strength. Be like the mountain, still, steady, and free even in the storm. The illusion of external control. You dance to the strings you refuse to see. What if those strings were never real? Imagine a marionette on a stage, moving with perfect precision. Every tilt of its head, every step it takes looks deliberate. But it's not the puppet moving, it's the unseen hand above. How often are you dancing to someone else's rhythm? Most people don't truly live, they perform. They perform for parents, partners, and society. If you're enjoying the content on wisdom and wealth, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more insights and wisdom. They shape-shift through life, terrified of disapproval and addicted to applause. Behind every fake smile is a silent question: if I stop pleasing them, will I still be loved? This is the illusion of external control. We hand over our emotional freedom bit by bit in exchange for validation. Before we realize it, we're not living our lives, we're playing roles we never chose. You say yes when your soul screams no. You hide your truth because you're afraid it's too much. You make decisions not because they feel right, but because they'll look right. The tragedy is that you think you're being wise, being careful, but really you're being controlled, not by force, but by fear, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being seen as different. Buddhism teaches that suffering arises not from what happens, but from clinging to illusions. The biggest illusion is that your worth comes from the outside. It doesn't. You were born whole. You don't need to be more, you just need to be you, without apology. So, take a moment and ask yourself, am I acting from truth or from habit? Am I choosing my path or following someone else's map because it's familiar, comfortable, expected? Look closely at how many of your choices are filtered through the lens of, what will they think? How often do you silence your voice to keep the peace, to fit in, to be liked? And the deeper question, whose script are you following, and why? The path to peace is the path of awareness. Begin by observing. Watch how you shrink when challenged. Notice how your energy shifts around certain people. Pay attention to the moments when your truth trembles at the altar of approval. That's where your freedom begins. Cut the strings, not with anger or rebellion, but with clarity. Choose authenticity over applause. Speak when it's uncomfortable, walk away when it's unpopular, and most of all, stop needing permission to be fully, unapologetically yourself. Because no one is coming to free you. The door isn't locked, it was never locked. You were always holding the key. The Buddha said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. That path begins when you stop being the puppet and become the hand. Let go of the illusion that others dictate your joy. They don't, they never did. Your life, your peace, your voice belong to you. The moment you stop dancing for them, you'll finally hear the music of your own soul. The most powerful thing you can ever do is stop performing. Just be. How your subconscious dictates your reactions. You don't see things as they are. You see them as you are. Until you realize that, the world will feel like it's attacking, judging, and rejecting you. When in truth, it's simply reflecting your own unhealed patterns. Imagine standing in front of a foggy mirror in a dark room. Everything looks distorted, and you panic at the shapes. But the problem isn't out there, it's the mirror, it's the fog, it's you. If you're finding value in this journey towards deeper understanding, please consider liking and subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth. Your support means the world to us. Have you ever overreacted to something small and thought, why did that hurt so much? A word, a tone, a glance, suddenly, you're spiraling. If you pause, really pause, and ask, where is this emotion actually coming from, you'll find it's not about the moment. It's about something buried, a wound, a memory, a belief you never questioned. The subconscious is like an invisible scriptwriter. It whispers, "You're not good enough. People always leave." Or, "If I'm not perfect, I'll be abandoned." These whispers shape how you hear, feel, and react. Someone forgets to text you back. It's not just a missed message, it becomes a confirmation of your deepest fear, "I don't matter." But that fear isn't coming from now, it's coming from then. Buddhist philosophy teaches us to see clearly, not through the lens of our past, but through the stillness of now. You are not your emotions. You are not even the thoughts you believe. You are the one who can watch them all without reacting. That's your power. The next time something triggers you, don't just react, reflect. Practice what I call a mirror moment. Instead of lashing out or shutting down, breathe. Ask, is this pain from this moment, or is it echoing something older? The mind repeats what it doesn't heal. Healing begins with awareness. This isn't about becoming emotionless, it's about becoming conscious. Emotions are messengers, but when they're hijacked by old stories, they become traps. If you want to reclaim your peace, you have to retrain your mind to respond, not to repeat. Mindfulness is the tool, stillness is the path. When you observe your triggers without judgment, you start rewriting the script. Slowly, the fog begins to clear. The mirror begins to reflect truth, not trauma. You stop reacting from your wounds and start responding from your wisdom. What's the story behind my reaction? Am I living in the moment or reliving the past? And most importantly, do I want to stay stuck in the loop, or break it? Every reaction is a choice, and every choice is a chance to become new. The Buddha said, "The mind is everything. What you think you become. If you think from your pain, you become its prisoner. If you think from awareness, you become free. When you're no longer reacting blindly, you become the mirror, clear, grounded, unshaken." That's what real power looks like. You'll never control the outside world, but master your inner world and nothing outside can touch you. And if this video resonates with you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more insights on how to navigate life with grace and resilience. Practical detachment from negativity. Let it touch you, but never sink into you. That's the power of practical detachment, not the cold shutting down of emotion, but the warm awareness that allows life to pass through you without leaving scars. Imagine a lotus leaf in the rain. Drop after drop falls from the sky, but none of it sticks. The leaf doesn't resist the rain, it simply doesn't absorb it. This is how your mind can be, open to experience, yet untouched by its weight. Most people do the opposite. They carry every drop, every harsh word, every small failure as if it were their identity. Someone criticizes you, and suddenly you doubt your worth. You face a setback, and you think you've failed at life. The mind absorbs it all, believing every passing thought and emotion is permanent. How many of those moments that once felt unbearable do you even remember now? The pain passed, the thought faded, and yet we suffer more than we need to because we grip what we're meant to release. Buddhism doesn't teach you to escape emotion, it teaches you to observe it. It invites you to sit with the sadness, the anger, the fear, but not to become it. Every thought is a visitor, every feeling is a wave. You are not the visitor, you are not the wave. You are the awareness beneath it all, the stillness watching it rise and fall. The next time a negative thought enters your mind, visualize it like a raindrop landing on a lotus leaf. You see it, you feel it, but you don't hold it. You don't label it. You let it slide away. Because you finally realize you don't have to carry everything that comes your way. Think about the mental baggage you're holding right now, the resentment, the overthinking, the imagined conversations. What would happen if, just for today, you chose not to carry it forward? What if you didn't need closure, revenge, or even understanding, just the courage to release? If you're finding this content helpful, please show your support by liking and subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth. Together, we can create a community of mindful individuals. Detachment isn't about becoming numb, it's about becoming free. It's saying, yes, this hurt, but it doesn't have to define me. It's the difference between experiencing emotion and being consumed by it. This shift, subtle as it seems, can completely change your inner world. The Buddha said, "You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Detachment is that surfboard. It's how you remain grounded when the world is unsteady. It's how you create space between what happens and how you respond. The next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, do I want to carry this pain any further? Or can I let it slide away now? Watch how your inner world changes when you choose to release instead of react. You don't have to suppress anything. You just have to stop clinging to what doesn't serve you. Your peace is not found in controlling life, it's found in not being controlled by it. Detach, not because you don't feel, but because you finally understand what's worth your energy. Be like the lotus, rooted in peace, untouched by the storm. What happens when you just stop caring? You spend your life carrying things that were never yours to hold, opinions that don't belong to you, expectations inherited, not chosen, noise disguised as truth. Then you wonder why your mind feels so heavy, why peace is always just out of reach. What am I so full of that there's no room left for stillness? Because only the empty can be filled with peace. Picture a cup filled with murky water. No matter how much pure, clean water you pour in, it stays clouded until you empty it. That's your mind when it's cluttered with unnecessary cares. You cannot pour peace into a cup already filled with chaos. You must first stop caring about what doesn't matter. This doesn't mean apathy, it means clarity. If you're resonating with the message of wisdom and wealth, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more insights on cultivating inner peace. It means stepping away from the exhausting need to please everyone, the constant comparison, the endless striving to prove yourself. True detachment is not indifference, it's intelligent focus. When you stop caring about what's meaningless, you make space for what is real. The Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." Most of us look in the wrong places. We chase validation, applause, perfection. We fill our days with distractions, hoping to outrun the discomfort of our own minds. The moment you stop, the moment you let go of the need to be seen, to be liked, to be right, that's when clarity begins. Ask yourself honestly, what do I care about that's draining me? Is it someone's approval, a fear of judgment, a past mistake you keep rehearsing in your mind? Every day, choose to drop just one of these, just one. And observe what happens when you make space. Because what happens when you just stop caring is this: the noise fades, the pressure lifts, you begin to see with new eyes. You realize that most of the things that kept you awake at night don't even matter in the silence of your soul. In that silence, a deeper voice emerges, the voice of your true self. The self that doesn't need fixing, proving, or performing, the self that simply is. This is not the absence of responsibility, it's the presence of wisdom. When you care only for what aligns with your values, your energy stops scattering. You act from calm, not chaos, from intention, not reaction. You become grounded, whole, unshakable. Make this your practice each day. Remove one unimportant care. Unfollow that noisy voice. Forgive what no longer serves you. Release the opinion that doesn't reflect your truth. Let go, not because it's easy, but because your peace depends on it. The goal is not to win every argument or control every outcome. The goal is to return to yourself. You can't do that while carrying the weight of what was never yours. In the end, peace doesn't come when everything is perfect. It comes when you decide to no longer be disturbed by the imperfect. Let the murky water go. Let stillness replace striving. Empty your cup and see what flows in. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go like the wind. One moment you feel like you're enough, the next you're drowning in self-doubt. One moment everything seems fine, then a single thought spins your peace into panic. You are not your thoughts. Until you understand that, you'll be a prisoner in your own mind. Imagine a flag flapping violently in the wind. The flag moves, but the pole stays still. That's who you really are, the stillness, the observer, the awareness, not the movement, not the mind. If you find this exploration of Buddhist principles valuable, please like this video and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth for more enlightening content. Most of your suffering doesn't come from reality. It comes from the narrative in your mind. That quiet voice whispering, "You're not doing enough. They don't respect you. You'll never get there." Are these facts or just clouds passing through the sky of your mind? If you mistake every cloud for a storm, you'll always feel like you're under attack. Buddhist philosophy teaches us something powerful. It's not the wind that moves, but the mind. What disturbs you isn't the world, but your interpretation of it. The world can be loud. People may judge, situations may hurt, things may fall apart. Your thoughts about those events create your emotional reality. If you learn to observe your thoughts instead of becoming them, you reclaim your freedom. Begin with this simple practice: journal. Write your thoughts every morning without censoring. Then step back and look. Would you believe a stranger if they wrote those words? Would you take them as truth? You'll begin to notice how repetitive, fearful, and irrational many thoughts are. You are the one watching those thoughts. You are not the chaos. You are the calm watching the chaos. When emotions rise, say to yourself, "This is a thought. This is a feeling. I am not this." Imagine yourself as the vast sky, and every emotion, every story, every fear is just a passing cloud. Some are dark, some loud, but none of them stay forever, and none of them are you. What would your life look like if you stopped reacting to every passing cloud as if it were your identity? True freedom isn't found by controlling every thought. It's found by no longer believing all of them. When you're stuck in your head, life feels heavy. When you become the observer, everything shifts. You realize your mind can scream, but it doesn't have to move you. You can feel sadness and still act with grace. You can hear fear and still move forward in courage. Don't try to change every thought. Just stop attaching to them. Let them arise. Let them pass. Let the wind blow, but don't be the flag, be the pole. The mind will always produce noise, but your awareness, your true self, is silent, spacious, and free. And once you remember that, nothing can truly affect you again. Bend without breaking. You've been taught that to be strong, you must stand firm, resist, fight back. What if real strength isn't about resisting at all? What if it's about bending, not breaking? Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It moves like the wind, fast, chaotic, unpredictable. If you meet that wind with rigidity, something eventually snaps. Look at the bamboo. It bends, it sways, it moves with the storm. When the storm passes, it's still standing, tall, rooted, alive. That's the kind of strength you're being asked to develop now, not to harden, but to soften with wisdom. If you appreciate the wisdom shared on Wisdom and Wealth, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. Most people believe control equals safety. If they can control the outcome, the timing, the emotions of others, maybe then they won't get hurt. Life is the ultimate teacher in impermanence. It will shake your plans, shift your relationships, throw curveballs when you least expect it. In those moments, your ability to adapt, not to resist, is what determines your peace. In Buddhism, the concept of non-resistance isn't weakness, it's freedom. It's the ability to say, "This is what's happening. I will not fight reality. I will flow with it." You don't lose yourself by surrendering, you lose yourself by clinging to things you were never meant to control. In every difficulty, what can I surrender without losing myself? Maybe it's your need to be understood, your craving for certainty, your fear of being alone. Let it go, not because you don't care, but because you finally do care about your peace more than your pride. In the face of emotional storms, heartbreak, rejection, failure, don't resist the pain. Let it move through you. Let it teach you. Bend with it. Feel it fully, but don't let it define you. The bamboo teaches us that resilience isn't found in tension, it's found in movement, in trust, in flow. When life breaks your rhythm, don't shatter, recalibrate, realign, respond, don't react. There's a quiet power in surrender, a power that says, even if the plan changes, I will not lose my center. The world outside will always be uncertain, but the space within you can become a sanctuary. The more flexible your mind, the less life can shake you. Practice releasing what you can't control. Practice acceptance, not as resignation, but as strength. Acceptance means you see clearly, act wisely, and stop wasting energy resisting what already is. Flexibility doesn't mean becoming passive. It means becoming wise. Where can I yield so I don't collapse? In your next challenge, don't try to dominate it. Dance with it. Adapt. Trust the rhythm of life to carry you even when it feels uncomfortable. The river flows not because it's strong, but because it's willing to move. He who is flexible is stronger than he who resists. You don't have to control the wind, you just have to stop standing in its way. Let it pass. Let it teach. Let it carry away what no longer belongs. Be like the bamboo, rooted in peace, open to change, impossible to break. That's when nothing and nobody will ever truly disturb your center again. Stop measuring yourself by others. You weren't born to be a copy. Yet somewhere along the way, you started measuring your worth by timelines, titles, and the twisted yardsticks of strangers. Someone got the job. Someone else got married. They traveled, bought a house, posted smiling photos, and you looked at your own life and felt behind. Behind what, exactly? Behind who? Whose race am I even running? Comparison isn't harmless. It's a silent thief. It creeps in during your quiet moments, robs you of joy, and whispers that you're not enough, not yet. If you're enjoying the wisdom shared on Wisdom and Wealth, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. The moment you stop comparing, you start living. In Buddhist thought, comparison is one of the roots of suffering. It pulls you away from presence, replaces gratitude with grasping, and peace with performance. You no longer live your life, you live someone else's highlight reel. Life isn't a competition, it's a path. No two paths are ever identical. Imagine a room full of clocks, each ticking to its own rhythm. Some run fast, others are slow, but even the broken one is right twice a day. You don't have to tick like the rest to be valid. You only have to be true. Whose timeline am I trying to follow? Was it programmed by your parents, society, social media, or a younger version of you who didn't know better? The moment you start untangling these threads, you reclaim your narrative. You stop asking, why am I not there yet, and start wondering, where am I really? And what do I actually want? You begin to live not from reaction, but from awareness. Comparison thrives in the digital world. Every scroll tells a story of someone who's seemingly doing better, going faster, shining brighter. Behind those screens are human beings struggling, doubting, hurting, just like you. Their path isn't better, it's just different, and often filtered. To disconnect from that illusion is to reconnect with yourself. Take a break from digital noise. Step outside. Watch nature. The sunflower never tries to be the rose. The oak doesn't compete with the pine. Yet everything blooms exactly as it should. You were never meant to bloom like anyone else. Your growth is not late. It's layered, unfolding in silence just as it must. Some people peak early, some late. Some lives are quiet, others loud. None are wrong. What's wrong is thinking yours should look like theirs. Whenever that wave of comparison hits, pause, don't react, observe. Is this my truth, or someone else's expectation? Redirect the energy from envy to appreciation, from judgment to curiosity. There's no need to rush, no deadline for becoming, and no finish line that proves your worth. Peace begins when you give yourself full permission to grow at your own pace, in your own way. No flower questions its bloom, neither should you. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. When you stop measuring your life by someone else's ruler, you'll finally feel free. Say no without guilt, the sword of compassionate boundaries. There comes a moment in every life when the soul whispers, enough. Enough of being stretched thin for people who never stretch for you. Enough of dimming your light to make others comfortable. Enough of saying yes when your entire being is screaming no. You hesitate. You're afraid they'll think you don't care, that you're selfish, that you've changed. Maybe that's not the problem. Maybe the problem is you've cared too much for too long, and now it's costing you yourself. Compassion includes yourself. Boundaries are love in action. When you start saying no without guilt, you begin to taste a freedom that was always yours. If you appreciate the transformative wisdom of wisdom and wealth, please show your support by liking and subscribing to the channel. In Buddhist philosophy, the sword is a powerful symbol, not of violence, but of clarity. It cuts through illusion. When wielded with awareness, it becomes the sword of compassion. Your boundaries can be that sword, not sharp in cruelty, but in truth, not to sever connection, but to protect what is sacred, your peace. Saying no doesn't mean you're unkind. It means you're no longer willing to abandon yourself for acceptance. It means you're choosing alignment over approval. Like a skilled swordsman, you can be precise and gentle at the same time. A soft no, I can't, is a complete sentence. No drama, no apology, just presence. Here's where it gets difficult, the guilt. That ache in your chest when someone reacts poorly to your boundary. That fear that they'll withdraw their love. Their reaction is their karma, not your guilt. You're not responsible for managing their emotions. You're responsible for managing your own integrity. What have you been tolerating that your soul is begging you to end? The friend who only calls when they need something, the job that drains your spirit, the habit of always saying yes because it's easier than facing conflict. These are the quiet leaks where your energy escapes. Every time you ignore them, you teach the world that your needs are negotiable. They're not. One powerful way to reclaim your space is to create sacred time, a weekly non-negotiable appointment with yourself. No screens, no obligations, just silence, breath, and being. In that stillness, something powerful happens. You begin to hear your truth again, and that truth becomes your compass. You no longer bend in directions that break you. You no longer chase validation in exchange for self-betrayal. You rise, rooted. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care, it means you care deeply, but with wisdom. You stop pouring from an empty cup. You stop setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. You let go of the need to be understood by everyone, because you're finally understood by the only person who matters, you. The next time someone asks for more than you can give, pause, breathe, and say no without guilt. Then watch what happens, not to them, but within you, peace, strength, clarity, a sword that protects without wounding. That is the boundary born from love. In that space, you'll discover a truth that changes everything. You don't have to explain your peace to anyone, you only have to live it. Detach to see clearly. Imagine you are a bird soaring high above a dense forest. From this height, the chaos of the trees, the scurrying of the worms below, all those tiny urgent details blur into a bigger picture. You see the paths, the clearings, the rivers winding through the green. When you are caught in the thicket of life's struggles, whether it's a breakup that shatters your sense of self, a career that feels like quicksand, or the dizzying shift in identity that leaves you unsure who you really are, you are like the worm trapped in the dirt, overwhelmed by the immediacy of pain. Detachment, the Buddhist wisdom teaches, is the tool that lifts you into the sky where clarity resides. It is not indifference or coldness, but the space that allows you to see beyond the moment's turmoil. To detach means to create distance between yourself and the storm, so you can witness it without being swallowed. Your continued support fuels our mission. Please give this video a like and subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth to help us reach more individuals seeking peace. When your emotions pull you under, the first step is to mentally zoom out. Imagine looking at your current struggle from 10 years in the future. How small does it become? What lessons does that distant you glean from this painful moment? This practice is like the bird's flight, it teaches you perspective. You realize that the tempest you're drowning in is but one chapter of a larger story. You begin to understand that suffering, while inevitable, is also transient. This isn't to dismiss your feelings, it's to empower you to step out of their grip. You are not your pain. You are the sky witnessing the weather, not the storm itself. Detachment invites you to ask a powerful question: if I were not emotionally entangled, what would I do right now? This question is a door. It opens space between reaction and response, between being swept away and choosing your path. Instead of reacting to every emotional trigger as if your life depends on it, you pause. You become the observer. What once seemed urgent loses its hold. Decisions born of calm clarity replace frantic, fear-driven choices. Think of your life like a river. When you are caught in the rapids, rushing, crashing, panicking, you lose control. If you rise above the river on a nearby hill, you see its twists and turns, understand how it flows, see where it narrows, where it widens, and where you can step out safely. Detachment gives you that vantage point. It shows you the options that panic conceals. This clarity shrinks your suffering because it dissolves the illusion that you are powerless. You realize that emotional storms do not have to define you. They are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. The pain doesn't vanish instantly, but your relationship to it transforms. You gain the freedom to choose your attitude, your next action, your direction. When you learn to detach, you reclaim your emotional sovereignty. You become the master of your inner world rather than a prisoner of circumstances. This doesn't mean withdrawing from life, it means engaging from a place of strength and wisdom. Like the bird, you rise above the noise, the panic, the judgments, and see your life in full view. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remember the bird. Elevate your awareness. Zoom out. Ask, what would I do if I were free from this emotional entanglement? Let this question guide you. Let detachment be your flight. When you see clearly, you are unstoppable. Nobody and nothing can affect you again, not because you are unaffected, but because you have chosen to see beyond the moment, beyond the pain, into the vast sky of your own being. Embrace impermanence. Imagine watching a Tibetan sand mandala being crafted. Each grain carefully placed, creating a pattern so intricate and beautiful it seems eternal. After hours or days, a single sweep of a brush dissolves it all, scattering the sand into the wind. This is the powerful lesson of impermanence. Nothing lasts forever, and holding on too tightly only causes pain in life. Whether it's a relationship that ends, a job lost, or the shifting sense of who you are, everything is in constant flux. What comes will go, what stays will shift. Recognizing this truth is not about resignation, but liberation. It frees you from the endless cycle of grasping and suffering. If you find yourself captivated by the insights shared in this video, please consider subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth for a continuous stream of wisdom. Many of us live as if we can control the flow of life, trying to anchor ourselves to stability in a sea of change. This is like trying to hold water in your hands, it slips through. The moment you understand that every situation, every feeling, every person is temporary, your suffering begins to loosen its grip. Imagine breathing in this truth deeply. This moment is fleeting. The pain you feel now, the joy you treasure, the fears that consume you, they are all passing clouds in the vast sky of your life. The challenge is to practice creating without clinging. Can you build something meaningful, whether it's a relationship, a career, or a dream, and still love it without needing to hold on forever? Can you love fully knowing that nothing lasts? This is where true freedom lies. It's not about becoming indifferent or cold. It's about cultivating a warm awareness that welcomes life's changes without being crushed by them. Like the sand mandala artist, you pour your heart into the moment, knowing it will eventually change or end, and that is okay. Letting go of expectation is one of the hardest things we face. We expect people to stay, situations to remain comfortable, ourselves to be the same. When reality refuses to meet these expectations, suffering arises. If you release these rigid hopes, open your hands and heart to the flow, you find a profound peace. You learn to dance with change instead of resisting it. This is the essence of Buddhist wisdom. Freedom is found not in permanence but in acceptance of impermanence. Think about a breakup that shattered your world. At first, it felt like your entire identity was lost. As time passed, you saw yourself healing, growing, shifting. The pain softened. That pain was real, but it was also impermanent. This shift allowed you to reclaim your life. The same happens with every loss or change. Each ending is the opening of a new beginning. Each release invites growth. Each impermanence teaches you resilience. When you embrace impermanence, you no longer fear loss because you understand it as part of life's natural rhythm. You stop chasing permanence in things that were never meant to last, and instead you anchor yourself in the present moment, open, flexible, alive. This acceptance transforms how you relate to the world and to yourself. You stop suffering over what cannot be controlled and start living fully in the face of change. What am I holding on to that causes me pain? What would happen if I breathed in the truth?